Good morning. This is lesson 79 in Saxon L79, and it's about insufficient information and quantitative comparisons. As complicated as that title sounds, this is actually a very easy concept, and it's going to be an extremely short lesson. So, sometimes we have problems that have insufficient information, right? Insufficient means not enough. So not enough information to solve the problem, or not enough of the right information. So let's look at an example of what this type of problem would look like. So a 10-pound bag of potatoes costs $1.49. What is the average price of each potato? Well, we don't know the number of potatoes in the bag, right? If we had the number of potatoes in the bag, then we could, take the money, divide by the number of potatoes, something like that. But with this, it's asking for what is the average price of each potato, but we have no idea how many potatoes are in the bag. We just know that there's a 10-pound bag, and it costs $1.49, right? We have all this information, but we don't have the right information to solve it. So we would write insufficient information for that. You'd say in or insuf info. Insufficient information. So, we're going to practice recognizing problems with insufficient information as we answer quantitative comparison problems, like the examples that we're going to see here in just a second. Quantitative comparison just has to deal with using letters like X and Y. We've seen quantitative problems before, or quantitative comparisons. So you've used the alligators, right? Greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, or just equal to. We've used all those symbols before, right? What if I gave you a problem like this? The numbers X and Y are whole numbers. Compare. So if I had X, and we have a circle here, Y, and the only information you have is that they're both whole numbers. Well, I have no idea to tell if they're equal or not. I don't know what the whole numbers are, right? I'm just knowing they're both whole numbers. This would be a quantitative comparison problem, right? Or comparing the two, where there's insufficient information. I don't have enough information to solve it because I don't know what X and Y are, other than the fact that they're whole numbers, right? So that would be a case of insufficient information. Now, let's look at a scenario where we could solve it. So we were given something like this, X and Y, and the information in the problem said X is a positive number, so X equals positive, and Y is a negative number. So we can still write in a comparison here. We have enough information, because even though we don't know what the number is, we know that X is a positive and Y is a negative. Positive numbers are always greater than negative numbers. So we would draw our alligator greater than sign pointing towards the X. So we do have enough information to solve that one. Alright, we're on to the practice set here. So, for each the directions are for each comparison, write greater than, less than, equal to, or insufficient information. So I'd like you to complete A, B, and C. So go ahead, pause this video, complete A, B, and C. Unpause it to check your answers. Okay, let's check your answers. So for A, we have X compared to Y if X minus Y equals 1. So we can solve this. We can make a comparison for this. Because if X minus Y equals 1, we know that X has to be greater than 1, right? If that 1 were a negative 1, maybe a little bit different story. But it's a positive 1. So we know that X has to be greater than Y. So we would write in the greater than sign for that. Let me pick a different color for this. So X would be greater than Y. Alright, B. B, it says M compared to N if M divided by N equals 1. Well, remember, any number divided by itself will equal 1. Right? So if M divided by N equals 1, M and N have to be equal. So that would be equal. Let's take a look at C. A compared to B, if A times B equals 1. This one's an interesting one because A times B equals 1. Let's think through that. 7 times 1 could equal 1. 1 times 7 could equal 1. 9 times 1 could equal 1. 1 times 9 could equal 1. There's no real way to determine what number A or B would be here. The other thing is that there's no positive or negative indicator, so we can't say like, oh, A's a negative number, so it's less than B. We really don't have enough information here to solve it. So this is an insufficient, or insuffinfo as we might write, insufficient information problem. All right, you are now ready for the mixed practice. Go ahead and begin.